You are attending the Intro to the Dementia Friendly America model with Mary Eck and Tara Hill Matthews, and I'm going to be the moderator. My name's Cathy Knight, and I am the state director for the Washington Association of Area Agencies on Aging. We call ourselves W4A for short. And I have my great assistant Rebecca here to help with all of the technical aspects, since I need that help. I want to just get right into it. I want to start off by introducing Mary. Those of you who were in the early session this morning as a full group know that Mary is the director of Dementia Friendly America. She's program director. It's a national initiative administered by U.S. Aging. U.S. Aging is the national affiliate for the area agencies around the country. So we have a great partnership with U.S. Aging. Through Mary's work, she supports dementia-friendly communities and Dementia Friends administrators by providing technical assistance, facilitating webinars, and collaboration among stakeholders, and managing the development and sharing of dementia-friendly resources. She also serves as the director of the Community Care Corps at U.S. Aging. That's a national program to foster innovative local models in which volunteers assist family caregivers, older adults, and adults with disabilities with non-medical assistance to maintain their independence. So before I turn it over to Mary, I'd just like to ask that everybody remain on mute during her presentation. She's going to be sharing slides. Please feel free to put your questions in the chat. We will have a Q&A session at the end of both presentations, and I want to just be able to sort of not disrupt the flow for Mary. So I'm just going to turn it over to you, Mary.
Great. Thank you, Cathy. And it's great to be supported by Washington Area Agency on Aging. As Cathy mentioned, U.S. Aging serves as the administrators of Dementia Friendly America. So we are we're in this together, Cathy and I. So thanks, Cathy. Next slide, please. So as Cathy mentioned, I'm the director of Dementia Friendly America, and the slide that you're looking at right here might be familiar. This is the reason for our work. So there is a growing need for dementia-friendly communities. This information is from the Alzheimer's Association Facts and Figures. And, you know, when we are thinking about dementia-friendly communities and who is impacted, there are important factors to keep in mind. There are currently over 6 million Americans living with Alzheimer's disease. And again, while Alzheimer's disease is the most common form of dementia, this number doesn't even include the many people impacted by other forms of dementia or cognitive impairment. It's been shown that statistically speaking, 1 in 10 people, that's 10% of people over the age 65, have Alzheimer's, and 1 in 5 live alone. So 80% of people with dementia live at home or with family as compared to a long-term care sector. And there are over 16 million caregivers of people with dementia, and over 11 million of these caregivers are unpaid family and friend caregivers. And for those of you who were able to attend the opening session, we heard from some of those caregivers in the opening session, and about you know, where they are struggling to find support in communities and what would be helpful to them. And so, you know, they highlighted the need for this work. And so I want to begin by just thanking you for being here and being interested in this work and being interested in fostering this work and starting either your dementia-friendly initiatives or enhancing your current work, or just spreading the word and increasing awareness about this important work. So thank you for being here. Next slide, please. So Dementia Friendly America believes it takes a village to support individuals with dementia and their care partners. And our vision is that every part of the community plays a role and can work together to take steps to create a dementia-friendly culture. Dementia Friendly America was modeled after Minnesota's Act on Alzheimer's. That's where I'm speaking from. I was part of Minnesota Act on Alzheimer's, which led me to working with DFA. And I'm thrilled to be back as the director for the past 2 years. But this work was really important and new in Minnesota. And eventually the Minnesota state model was adapted as a national initiative and was adopted at the White House Conference on Aging back in 2015. And so as you can see in the cloud image, and this image is carried throughout our resources. In a dementia-friendly community, businesses such as banks and financial and legal services support customers with dementia and employers support employees who are caregivers. Healthcare systems promote early diagnosis and options for ongoing care and support. Communities of faith that provide welcoming, engaging environments for those with disease and their caregivers. And we heard about that in the opening session about the support that the folks on the panel earlier were receiving from their faith communities. Local governments plan and implement housing, transportation, and public spaces. First responders, that has been a growing effort with trainings for first responders, so they're prepared to encounter people with dementia and respond in an appropriate way in a variety of settings. Community-based services are getting better at supporting people. Neighbors and community members, including youth, are understanding and supportive of those around them. So each sector, each member of the community has an impact on the health and well-being of its members. And, we think about this, and I'll talk more about how public health has begun to engage, but this is public health, this community effort. Next slide, please. So what is a dementia-friendly community? So, we've been throwing out this phrase for many years, and what does it exactly mean? So there is no exact definition, and as I mentioned in the opening session, a dementia-friendly community is one that is informed, safe, and respectful of individuals with dementia, their families and care partners, and provides supportive options that foster quality of life. But it's really about attitude and awareness and kindness, really. And, as we listen to the panelists in the first session, that's what they're looking for. They're looking for their loved one to be welcomed into community, to be treated with respect, to be recognized as a member of the community that needs to be engaged and embraced. And so when a community joins the DFA network, it means that community is working to become more dementia friendly through a community approach, involving at least 3 sectors of the community, absolutely including people with dementia and their care partners in the planning, and by adopting dementia friendly practices and goals. And you'll hear more about those in just a bit. Next slide, please. So it's interesting. I look at the slide, and Mary Grace set me up well when she named this conference, this summit. So today we're attending a webinar entitled "Collaborating for a Dementia-Friendly Washington, Moving Forward Together." And that is the very motto of DFA. We are moving forward. And that's what we need to do in this work together, in collaboration across sectors with people living with dementia and their care partners. And we need to continue to move forward. There's no end to this dementia-friendly journey. There's always more that we can do, more that we can learn. And so just, I wonder if Mary Grace took a peek and saw this little collaboration with the arrow, like we are moving forward in a collaborative way to move this effort forward. The number one principle consistent throughout dementia-friendly literature is to include people living with dementia in the community effort, because they provide the valuable information on what is working well in a community and what needs to change. And in addition to including people living with dementia, we know that this requires collaboration and partnerships, both. Sorry, I just had my screen go blank. Give me 1 second. Here we go. Both within the aging network and across sectors. One of the key partnerships being with public health. And, recently, since COVID, when certainly the need for supporting people living with dementia was highlighted. We have learned that that dementia is now considered an issue of public health, and we are seeing more engagement with the public health sector. Another prime example of a valuable partnership our Dementia Friendly Communities has is with the local AAAs. And we have Washington here, and they're as their membership organization, US Aging took on the role of administrators of DFA, knowing that our AAAs would be crucial partners in this work. Next slide, please. So this graphic, I think really tells the story of what we are about. In addition to that community graphic you saw, this talks about the action team. So communities, whether they're doing a community toolkit approach or a sector guide approach or some combination of the two, they'll begin with an action team. And some communities engage all sectors of the community. That's fantastic. There are other communities that may start with a few sectors. And we usually recommend starting with a health system, a public sector, or at least one other sector, and build from there. Oftentimes it's a faith sector where they can start with a dementia friend session, or just talk about how are we welcoming members of our faith community who are living with dementia and their care partners. A critical factor for action team formation is the participation and engagement of people living with dementia and their care partners, because they truly inform our work. What can we do to be supportive of you? And it's nothing about us without us, kind of that motto that supports that we follow with our action teams. And so the idea behind having various sectors represented on the action team is, think back to the village model in that graphic that we showed you earlier. And it starts with one sector, and each one can be a catalyst for the next. So we've learned that an ambassador from within a sector can increase the engagement from that sector. And so when we bring those folks around the table as an action team, they can carry that work into their sectors with the resources that we provide to bring that sector on board as an active member of the effort. Next slide, please. So where are these dementia-friendly community efforts taking place? We are thrilled with the momentum we are seeing. And, this effort started with 6 pilot communities back in 2015. And we are so excited to see that our network has grown to over 400 dementia-friendly communities across 43 states. And with the hope that this conversation today and what you're learning today inspires more communities to be created throughout Washington. Next slide, please. So when we look at the social determinants of health, we can immediately see an alignment with the goals of DFA. So DFA created its goals with the understanding that the conditions in the environment where people live, work, play, worship, age, it affects a wide range of health, functioning, and quality of life outcomes and risks. So if you look here at this social determinants of health wheel, you'll see, the dementia-friendly goals align with this, in that our goal is to increase awareness and understanding of dementia and people living with dementia, to increase awareness and understanding of brain health and risk reduction, collaborate to address the changing needs of people with dementia, creating a social, cultural, and business environments that are inclusive, and then improving physical environments and public spaces. So direct alignment with what we what we are hearing more and more about the social determinants of health. Next slide, please. So included in our collaboration, the activities outlined in the BOLD Act are designed to create a uniform national public health infrastructure with a focus on issues such as increasing early detection and diagnosis, risk reduction, prevention of avoidable hospitalizations, and supporting dementia caregiving. It's designed to promote implementation of the CDC's Healthy Brain Initiative. And our work, we've been collaborating with each of these public health centers of excellence to, as an example, we have been adding more brain health and risk reduction materials to our Dementia Friends program. And, you know, our community efforts are included in the Healthy Brain Initiative roadmap. So we're thrilled to be partnering with these public health centers of excellence, and I'll share a little bit more about those, about where we're aligning with them and how we're supporting each other in our work in the next few slides. Next slide, please. So the Dementia Friendly America initiative provides technical assistance and tools and resources to assist communities and individuals in taking action to become more dementia friendly. Our goal at the national level is to help communities by laying out a roadmap and providing resources from which they can pick and choose and to support their efforts. On our website, you'll find sector guides, provider tools, a community toolkit, and other guidance for communities working towards being dementia friendly. One is our 4-step toolkit that guides the community through a process with enough structure to help groups come together and create a shared agenda, but it's flexible enough that it allows communities to define their own goals and approach the work in a way that's most suitable for each unique community. Our sector guides also provide information, resources, and actions that each specific sector can take. Next slide, please. This is just an example of, you know, our community toolkit, which, you know, as you read through it, you'll see it follows a lot of community planning models by, you know, convening the right people, engaging and doing a needs assessment, analyzing the needs outlined in that assessment, and then acting together. So creating work, you know, priorities, and then an action plan for carrying out those priorities. So DFA's community toolkit is specific to a dementia-friendly community effort with step-by-step and a build out of each of these 4 steps for our toolkit. And all of those, you know, that whole toolkit can be found on our website. Next slide, please. We also have provider tools, and these provider tools incorporate the expertise of multiple community stakeholders, including clinical and community-based service providers, and offer valuable information and resources and guidance for professionals. We are going to be working with BOLD, the Early Detection and Diagnosis Public Health Center of Excellence, to update and enhance these resources throughout this coming year. Next slide, please. We also have a Dementia Friendly at Work training. We're grateful for our continued partnership with Act on Alzheimer's. They have provided a Dementia Friendly at Work for healthcare settings that brings together the Dementia Friends curriculum and the Dementia Friendly at Work training to create a unique educational opportunity for the healthcare setting workforce. And so basically it's a curriculum that a healthcare setting or a business can take and train themselves essentially how to be dementia friendly. And so that is available on our website, and the one specific for healthcare settings is coming soon. We're in the midst of kind of rebooting our website with enhanced resources and just kind of a more user-friendly format on our website. So that will be coming this fall when we launch our new website. But the Dementia Friendly at Work is already on there. So if you'd like to access that, you can certainly access that now. Next slide, please. So DFA continues to expand its library of over 10 community sector guides that provide information, resources, and actions that specific parts of the community can take to meaningfully support people with dementia and their care partners. We recently added the airport sector guide, which was developed in partnership with the Dementia Friendly Airports Working Group. We are working on adding guides around travel, entertainment, personal services like salons. And so we've had someone working with us over the past few months, kind of building out that library. And when we roll out our new website, we will be you'll see that we have some new sector guides there, and we're finding that the sector guides, have been a bit more popular than the community toolkit, in that, a community may come to us and say, we're really ready to get going in our faith community, or we have a CBO that really wants to get started. And so they find this guide to be just a useful tool to just jump right in and get started. And then they could jump into full toolkit implementation, or jump to the next sector that they'd like to use, that they'd like to train in, and grab one of our sector guides to support them in those efforts. So we're excited to be to tell you can look forward to an expanded library of sector guides coming soon this fall, and we will continue to build out that library as we gather resources. Next slide, please. Dementia Friends USA. So this initiative is really exciting, and we have found that this is often serving as a catalyst for dementia-friendly community efforts. It became Dementia Friends USA is part of a global social awareness movement that began in Japan, but then the UK adopted it and administered it for many years. And we acquired a sub-license to offer this program in the US back in 2016. And so basically participants attend a Dementia Friends champion-led session to learn about what it's like to live with dementia, how to recognize the signs of dementia, and then how to turn that understanding into action. And they actually commit to take action as a dementia friend after attending one of these sessions. We are active in 33 states and territories through a sub-license process. So states can reach out to DFA, and if they would like to start a statewide effort, they can acquire a sub-license from us. We're allowed to issue one sub-license per state. And once they have that sub-license, they have access to the curriculum and can then offer those sessions through a train-the-trainer model of champions in their state. You can also become a friend online. For those that don't have sessions offered in their area, there is an online opportunity to become a dementia friend. We currently have 148,000 dementia friends, and that number is growing. This is just a snapshot here of where of states that do hold a sub-license. And if you don't, well, this is just Washington. So we are thrilled that Washington is on board here with Dementia Friends. And obviously we have a goal of having a Dementia Friend sub-license holder in every state. But until that happens, we are happy to have people become a Dementia Friend online. And since COVID, we have been offering more virtual opportunities within states for folks to attend a session, knowing that we've moved to that kind of world and need to make that an option. So we've been able to be a little more flexible with the Dementia Friends format, whereas before it had to be an in-person session in your state. Also, exciting to report is that we continue to build out our Dementia Friends curriculum library. We have adaptations that will serve that serves the Native American and Alaska Native community. It was adapted to better speak to their culture. We have, I think, 18 languages. The curriculum is in 18 languages. So that has been a useful tool for many of our states that serve diverse communities. We have Dementia Friends for incarcerated settings. The folks in Ohio are doing incredible work with that. Dementia Friends for first responders. So it's just really grown. This effort has really grown, and as I mentioned earlier, often serves as a catalyst for a community or even statewide effort. Next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't say next slide before. So I did next slide in my head. This is our current reach with Dementia Friends licenses. So next slide, please. So what are we observing and how are we responding? So this effort has grown, especially since our early days in Minnesota back in 2011, and then becoming a national effort in 2015. And then just since I have returned 2 years ago and post-COVID, we're seeing that, dementia now is ever increasingly being recognized as a public health priority. And the bold centers of excellence have been on board and contributing to our work, and we are partnering with them. We are capitalizing on technical assistance to maintain relevant resources, and we're exploring alignment and opportunities for collaboration between dementia-friendly and age-friendly efforts. The age-friendly effort out of AARP, we work closely with them. We've presented together. We have an overlay on our website that shows the alignment of age-friendly and dementia-friendly efforts, and if you're doing one, what you would have to do to do the other in partnership with that. As I mentioned when we talked about Dementia Friends, it is certainly serving as an impetus for dementia-friendly community action, and that number continues to grow. Communities are requesting expanded resources around brain health and risk reduction. They want to be able to respond locally within their sector, within the sectors that are represented in their community efforts. And so we're adapting materials to meet those needs. And as I mentioned, we are updating our website, and we're actually going to merge the Dementia Friendly America and Dementia Friends website so that it's easier for people to see how those two initiatives are related, one being a community focus and one being an individual focus. And of course, our goal to increase awareness about dementia-friendly communities, about our resources, how we can support communities in their efforts, and also for people to learn that Dementia Friendly America isn't just about promoting the resources that we have created, which are all public facing, but also to highlight the work that is happening, across the nation. There are incredible tools nationwide, and when we hear them, we highlight them. And so as we build out our new website, we will be more intentional about highlighting the great work that is happening through other organizations and alliances that are engaged in this work, so that people can come to Dementia Friendly America website and find the resources that they need, whether they're resources that we developed or that those that are also committed to this work have created and want to share publicly. Next slide, please. Well, I think that's a wrap. So I would like to thank AZI, who generously contributed to our work so that we could update our resources, that we could increase awareness, that we can build out our new website, and without their support, we would not have been able to do that. And so, and it also, we were able to increase some of our staff time on this effort. So we are grateful to AZI for their continued support. And on the next slide, you'll see other contributors to our work. And I think on the last slide, you'll just see our contact information. So I certainly encourage you to reach out if you have further questions. We'll have an opportunity after Cathy introduces our next speaker, and then I'll be able to answer some questions at the end. But this, I believe you're all getting these slides, so you have this contact information. So please reach out if you have questions that aren't answered today, or if you have an interest in getting a community started in your state. So thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Mary. So informative.
You're welcome. It was a lot. I need to sip my water.
I learned a lot. And I'm sure that we will definitely have time to address people's questions at the end. Right now, I want to introduce Tara Hill Matthews, and I'm really excited to introduce Tara because she's a dementia resource catalyst. That's her name of what she does. at the Aging and Long-Term Care of Eastern Washington. That's the area agency on aging that serves many counties in Eastern Washington. And the Dementia Resource Catalyst is a model. It's still a pilot. It started years ago through the efforts of one of our AAAs, and that model then became a pilot last year, both in Northwestern Washington and in Eastern Washington. And now we're going to add a new pilot this year, the Area Agency on Aging that's out in the Olympic Peninsula. So it's a really exciting concept, and Tara's going to tell us about that. Tara herself's been a healthcare trainer for almost 10 years, and having both worked in dementia care and watch family members experience dementia, she's passionate about reducing the stigma around dementia, about connecting families to resources, and advocating for an early diagnosis. Tara is a proud member of the Spokane area Dementia Friendly Community, and she offers no-cost dementia training to professionals. And so I'm going to welcome you, Tara, and turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Kathy. I appreciate, I'm really excited to talk about the Spokane area dementia friendly community. And as I'm pulling up my slides, I just want to say thank you to Mary Grace and to everyone who's been involved in organizing this conference for creating a space to talk about this important topic. I also want to acknowledge the volunteers, the great volunteers that are a part of the Spokane area dementia friendly community. We can't do anything that we do without them, so shout out to them. And I also specifically want to mention Dr. Bruce Dentler and Savannah Reams-Taylor, who helped create this presentation. All right, so without further ado, we'll talk about the Spokane area dementia friendly community. All right, so first, I just want to introduce you to us. This is who we are, and we have people from across a lot of different sectors in the Spokane area DFC. So we have people from the Spokane Regional Health District, so in public health that Mary was talking about earlier. We have the Spokane Parks and Rec represented, and Dignity Senior Services, Providence, the Alzheimer's Association is an important partner. And then of course we have care partners as well. This is how our group is currently organized, and I'm going to be honest with you, we're going to talk about this a little bit more later. We're currently in the process of maybe changing this a little bit, and I'll kind of tell you what we're currently doing. So we have a few different groups. So the most active groups right now are Brainy Buddies. We just created a list of local resources to accompany the Dementia Roadmap. We also have a lot of exciting things going on in the Build Community Task Group and in our Activities Subcommittee. So those are the most active currently. Just a little bit about how we started. I just want to tell you kind of how this came about and how we became the Spokane area dementia friendly community. So it started with a different group actually called SPODAT, or the Spokane Dementia Action Team. And the goal of that group still is to provide dementia information to medical providers through semi-annual education sessions. So again, this group is still active and they're still providing resources and education for medical professionals. That started back in 2017. And then in 2018, we started working toward making the Spokane area dementia friendly community. So Mary kind of already talked about that process, but we met with the DFA. We also met with 2 established DFCs elsewhere. We worked on gathering stakeholders, and then we hosted a dementia summit as well. And then by the spring of 2020, which you can see that we started right in the spring of 2020 when other stuff was going on, we became an official dementia friendly community. As part of that, we conducted a dementia community needs assessment survey, and we found 3 priority areas in our community. So those are knowing about the warning signs of dementia, creating awareness of resources and organizations, and then helping the community gain skills for interacting with people living with dementia. So those right now are our three main goals as an organization. In April 2021, we also led an online community forum to discuss those survey results. And also all of this work led to, like Cathy was talking about, the Building Dementia Capable Communities grant, which is funded by the Aging and Long-Term Support Administration. So shout out to Lynn Cordy and Joe Murphy for their partnership. The reason that this is important is because it created 3 different positions that can do dementia work full time. So there's my position, the Dementia Resource Catalyst, also a dementia care specialist that does more one-on-one work, and the Alzheimer's Association is a really important partner as well. So this is just one journey. This is one way to create a dementia-friendly community, but there are a lot of others. So I'm not going to read all of this to you, but here are some of our achievements as the Spokane area dementia-friendly community. Just a couple to highlight. We did, like I said, we created a local resource list and a roadmap, which we'll send out the slides so you have all of these links. We also established a newsletter. We've been providing Dementia Friends sessions since the beginning. We have created a website for the DFC. We partnered with the Spokane Symphony to offer free virtual concerts. We started an enhanced fitness class through the City of Spokane Parks and Recreation. And one really exciting thing is that we obtained approval from the Spokane City Council and City of Spokane Parks and Rec to build a memory garden. So we're really excited about that. Here are a couple of other things that we've done. This is part of both our grant and the Spokane area dementia friendly community. So we've started offering the STAR-C program, which is to support people living with dementia and their care partners in an intense 6-week program. We organized the first ever aging track at the 2023 Northwest Rural Health Conference. And we've done a lot of trainings and education sessions in partnership with the Alzheimer's Association. So for people living with dementia and their care partners, as well as for professionals as well. The Alzheimer's Association also provides memory cafes and support groups. So like I said, they're a really important partner. Currently, like I said, we're kind of undergoing a transformation right now. We've been discussing a couple of different things, including the goals that we want to focus on next. To be honest, we're kind of in a period where we've already accomplished a lot of our goals that we originally set out to do. So we're kind of trying to figure out what's next. We're in kind of a transition period. So here are some of the things that we're thinking about doing that we've discussed. We've discussed a business certification that will encourage public-facing organizations to provide both a training and a built space walkthrough to try to make spaces in Spokane and the surrounding areas more dementia-friendly. We're also working on maybe creating a hidden disabilities, especially for transportation organizations. And of course, we're planning to continue to offer Dementia Friends sessions and things like that. So that's all the good news. That's what we have been working on and what we're currently working on. Now I want to talk about some of the challenges and the advice we have for someone who's thinking about starting a dementia-friendly community. One of the biggest discussions has been the size of our group. So if it's too large, there's just a lot going on and we don't accomplish as much because we're always talking about things instead of doing them. It's also been kind of difficult to find people living with dementia and their care partners to be part of our group as well. And then to be honest with you, like I said, we started officially in the spring of 2020. So we've had kind of, especially with COVID and with everything surrounding that, we've had some loss of interest and some turnaround in our committee membership. So some of that as well, just dealing with kind of people's priorities change and they leave, or they change to a different position and leave the group. So dealing with that and retaining momentum as people leave and have different priorities. It's also been kind of tough to determine the scope of our work. So the geographic area, how big or how small we want to be. And like I said, maintaining momentum after accomplishing our initial goals. We're kind of in that period right now where we're trying to figure out what that looks like going forward. Also, to be really honest, we've kind of had a struggle with naming the group. We're the Spokane Area Dementia Friendly Community. So if you think about that as an acronym, it's SADFC. So it's hard not to see that as sad face, which is not the best name. In terms of advice, and again, I would like to thank Dr. Dentler for some of these as well. We would recommend a couple of things. So the first is it's okay to start small. You don't have to go out and accomplish everything at once. You might have a lot of ideas at the beginning, but taking a close look at the strengths and the special interests of the people in your group, that's kind of where we started. We had people who were really interested in specific things related to dementia. So focusing on those strengths and really trying to start there. One good first step is to offer Dementia Friends sessions. So to get some Dementia Friends champions in your group and to start offering those is a good first step. Also, obviously, be careful in naming your group. Think about the acronym before you name it, and then be willing to shift if something isn't working. And then kind of along the same lines as the playing to your strengths is looking for partners while you complete the initial activities of the group. All right, so just to close, here's our contact information. If you're in the Spokane area or in Eastern Washington in general, would love it if you reach out. If you want to join our group or if you have ideas or questions, would love to hear from you. All right, so I'll turn it back to Cathy. I'll leave this up for a couple of seconds, but I'll turn it back to Cathy for our Q&A.
Thank you so very much. Oh, I just love these slides, and I so appreciate that everybody's going to receive both presentations because of all the resources embedded in those slides that people will find useful. So I wanted to open it up to folks who might have questions or comments, share your experiences. And I think maybe the easiest way to do that, I did not see any questions in the chat. So if you if you have a question or you want to make a comment, if you can just raise your hand, I can call on you. And I'll try to make sure, and maybe Rebecca can help me if I don't see everybody. Did anybody need clarification about any of the points that Mary and Tara were?
I see Dennis has his hand raised.
Okay,
I did,
Dennis,
yes.
thank you.
I see you had a section on business certification. Once they've taken some training on how to be a dementia-friendly business. And I haven't seen this other thing anywhere, but what I would like to imagine is that once they've been trained, they would get a door sticker or window sticker that says, "We are a dementia-friendly business," and something that would be recognizable and widespread, so that people with dementia, or as they're walking around with their caregivers, will know that this is a great place to stop in. Is there any possibility of doing that?
Yeah, thanks, Dennis. That's a great idea. So we have talked about door stickers and we are planning to offer those. We were also, and again, this is just in the beginning stages. We're just talking about it right now, but we've also thought about turning that into a directory so that people living with dementia and their care partners can have that and know where to go for dementia-friendly spaces.
Sure, you need both. I found the businesses very accommodating when my wife and I would go to a variety of different kinds of businesses, but there was no evidence outside the place or anywhere else publicly known. So
And
I think there's a lot of acceptance and willing to deal with people with dementia out there, and we just have to make that public.
thank you, Dennis. And this is Mary, for those who aren't seeing the full screen, Mary with Dementia Friendly America. We do have communities that do have decals that they put up to show that a community or a sector has been trained in being dementia friendly, or that they've gone through Dementia Friends training. And so that's kind of done community by community, depending on how they want to go about that. So it sounds like Tara, they have that kind of as one of the things that they'd like to do. And it is nice for care partners to know that and for the person living with dementia to know that they will go in and you know, just receive the care or extra time or whatever it might be that they need in any given business. I do see one question on here. I wonder about the community assessment and if they are tailored to the community or if there is a general one on the website. So there is a general one on the website, and as with all of our resources, they can be adapted to meet the needs of a given community based on size or where they are geographically, rural, urban. So they certainly can be adapted for that. And I also just, I don't see any more questions in the chat, but I just want to comment on some of the challenges that that Tara said the Spokane community is facing, and to just assure you, Tara, that you are not alone. So communities, you know, they can ramp up and then they can become a bit stagnant. Certainly COVID did have an impact on some communities, but you know, what I would say is, you know, just as Dementia Friendly America as a national initiative needed a refresh, and that's kind of what we're going through right now. Sometimes communities need that as well. And so we've had some communities reach out to us, you know, what do we do? How do we get momentum going again? And that can be through having another kickoff, you know, and just reintroducing people to the effort, be able to report on the accomplishments, you know, to date, or to re-engage with sectors or invite new sectors to come to the table. But we found that just kind of almost starting over, but with information and an opportunity to be able to report the progress that's been made, but not to let the, you know, the lull discourage you, but to kind of see it as an opportunity to reintroduce yourselves with, you know, perhaps new members of the engagement team, a new name, as you said, trying to find a name that better suits the work, that this is not gloom and doom. This is about living well with dementia and being able to engage and thrive in community. Let's see, I'm just seeing some more chats. Kathy, I hope it's okay.
There's a lot of questions. I do want to make sure Helen's had her hand up for a while. I want to give her a chance to ask her question, and then we can get back to the questions in the chat. Helen?
Sure. I'm wondering whether there are financial supports for groups that might be under the umbrella of the DFA or independent. The one I'm thinking of in the greater Seattle area is Old Friends Club, which offered a day program that was very successful, but just, you know, financially was always struggling. And I don't know what, because that would be a substantial, you know, investment of funds. And I don't know if there are such grants or some kind of program support like that available.
Yeah,
for programs like that.
There are, and oftentimes that is at the local level. As a national initiative, we rely on sponsors and funders to support our work as well. But I know that that many of our communities get support from local foundations, or they'll receive in-kind support from different sector members that may be willing to host a meeting or provide refreshments for a meeting, or printing materials. But it does look different in every community based on the connections they make for that work. And I know that there are some federal grants, but they're big, and they're usually for an initiative that has the infrastructure to get started. But mostly we're finding that our communities are receiving support from local foundations and organizations. I see a question here about dementia-friendly dining, and that is something that we plan to roll out at a national as a national effort. There was an initiative called Purple Tables, and we recently adopted that curriculum, and we will be rolling out dementia-friendly dining with a training for restaurants, and then having a directory of restaurants that have participated in that training, and that will certainly trickle down to the local level. And we actually there are communities that have already taken that on at the local level, really kind of using the business curriculum, but adapting it for restaurants.
Yes, I've heard about Purple Table. I thought that was a great idea when that started. It looks like a couple more questions that both of you may want to respond to. It seems to me there needs to be a catalyst to get this going. How do you find one? My experience is that all the public agency staff are overworked, understaffed, and under budget to take this on. So any creative suggestions there?
It can be any sector that comes forward, or it can be a foundation that has an interest in this work. There's also private philanthropy. Faith communities have played a crucial role in this and getting it started, serving as a convening space, and being able to demonstrate how the dementia-friendly efforts have supported their sector and helped them become a dementia-friendly faith organization. There isn't a rule about who can do this, and it doesn't need to be a public agency staff. We have communities that are very grassroots, and we have some that are working out of an office on aging. So it runs the gamut. So it's really kind of taking a close look at where is the low-hanging fruit in your area. Who is showing interest? Is there a public figure that has been showing interest, or someone in government that has a connection because of a family member or something, where you can kind of get them engaged and say, how do we get this going? But putting the word out that you want to get it going, offering a dementia friends and seeing who comes in the door is certainly a way to kind of remind people about this work, and especially in an area where you've already done such incredible work, to be able to highlight that work and share the impact it has had, and encourage people to continue that work.
And can I add on to that one too? Is that okay?
Yes, please.
So I just want to say that I know that the Dementia Resource Catalyst program has really helped the Spokane area dementia friendly community, but we were operating for more than a year without that funding. So it started as just a chance and of course I can only speak to what we did, but it really just offered a chance for us to gather people who were interested in dementia and already working on making Spokane a more dementia friendly community together. So just wanted to put that out there.
And I wanted to just add a couple comments from the chat that I think relate to this. Helen asking about the Old Friends Club. I think I had heard this too, that it's now under the umbrella of the Dementia Support Northwest. Thank you, Dennis, for that. So we do see more support for that program, and also that the Orcas Senior Center received a grant from their local community foundation to support the Dementia Friendly Orcas initiative. So those are examples of where you can find some support. There's a question about if either of your programs train volunteers to visit people at home, and if so, how has that gone?
At a national level, we have not offered a training for visiting people at home. And I think Cathy, as a way you can speak to this, we can't just send people into homes, but our goal from what we can do at a national level is the Dementia Friends program, and in teaching people how to recognize the signs and how to respond. And that has often turned into neighbors being more supportive of each other, visiting a neighbor who they might see has not been engaging the way they used to and might feel more hesitant to come out. And so welcoming that person and re-engaging them, bringing them to their place of worship if they don't feel they're able to go on their own anymore. So at a national level, we're doing that through Dementia Friends and promoting that. But I don't know, Tara or Cathy, if you can speak to anything more at the local level, other than volunteer programs that are in place.
Yeah, so we haven't either, and that's not really on our goal list right now. One goal that we do have that I think might address some of those challenges is a mentor program where we have people who have been living with dementia and their care partner paired with someone maybe who has a new diagnosis or who is concerned about memory loss. So that's something that we're looking at doing. We also have memory cafes where people living with dementia and their care partners can go and have spend time with other people who are going through the same or a similar situation. And education is often there, and things like crafts and activities. So.
And I don't know of specific programs where volunteers go into the home. They might exist, but that's something maybe we can try to get more information about. I see there's a comment here. Private and public memory care facilities have helped create the dementia-friendly programs. Because they might already have programming, and they can add people from the community to those groups, right? So that's another way of getting it going. I see. Oh yeah, Gail, did you want to add some more to that?
Well, I just wanted to, I was asking about the volunteers at home because a lot of the things you're talking about have to do with care partners, and they're people, our hardest challenges are with people who have dementia are living alone in their house. So someone has to come get them and take them to somewhere if they're going to attend. And then we have this issue that we have a lot of volunteer programs that are, just neighborhood programs that come and they'll help you with dishes, or they'll give you a ride somewhere, or they'll do something like that. And they've run into some obstacles with working with people with dementia, whether it's been identified or not, because of course then the needs are greater. So I wondered if anybody had kind of dealt with that, and it sounds like it hasn't been dealt with, because there are a lot of problems with it. But our biggest issue is with people who don't have a caregiver.
And
Go ahead, Cathy. I
was just going to say, on any systematic basis, I get what you're saying. In my community, we have what we call island volunteer caregivers. And those folks can be paired up as a companion for somebody if they have mild cognitive deficiencies or issues. And so I think there are where it's being done, but probably on, depending on the community and the programs and what they feel comfortable doing.
Yeah, and I do know it is a priority, the national strategy for caregiving. I'm not saying the acronym correct, but I know that that they are looking at providing more education and training for caregivers to go into the home, supporting people living with dementia. And so dementia specific education and training.
I think I think it's worth checking with, the area agencies on aging through their community living connections networks. One of the things they do is just, kind of try to keep track about what's going on, whether it's officially funded or they just know it may be in the network. It's a place to go to at least try to get some information. So I would recommend always checking with, and you may know your local area agency really well.
Thank you.
I see, oh my gosh, we have finished our questions. It's 11:45. I guess my final duty is to thank both of our speakers for your time and all of the excellent information you've provided. And I'm supposed to send you back for the close of the conference, and you will go back to using the main Zoom link that you had. And thank you again for joining us and spending time together today.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.